keep me down, I'm going. And if I ever fail, just know I'll go again. I never quit, cause I know that every loss may lead to another win. I'm going up. I bet when I land, they gonna tell me it's luck again.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
Your boy Ron.
And we are back for another recap. This week we are doing PowerBook 2 Ghost, Season 4, Episode 5. This one is titled Ego Death. And it just so happens to be the last episode before this hiatus they're going on. So they leaving us with a lot. We're going to get into that in a second. But first, please make sure you subscribe to our channel, like this video, click that notification bell so you get alerted whenever we post. And make sure you invite your friends and family onto this Spot Real Talk. So, do all those things, help support us. We appreciate you guys so much. And, your continued love and support is what helps us grow. So hook it up. Y'all ready to get into this?
Oh,
this
I'm
ego
ready.
death?
I'm ready to get down.
Let's go.
Okay, here we go. So, ego death. Ego death. Think about that title, first of all, because I was like, we were speculating a little bit last week about like what that meant. And it seems like, some people are going to have to put their pride aside and humble themselves. And I think we've seen a little bit of that, specifically in the Tejada household. So if y'all want to talk about that, Monet, she and Diana and Drew had a family meeting. And then, of course, Kane joined in, and he was refusing to forgive Diana and Drew. I don't know if Monet's idea to bring the family back together and operate the family business is going to work. It seems like Drew is jumping ship. Kane definitely has some animosity still. And Diana is about to be dealing with a brand new child. We've seen her contemplating a lot this episode on whether she should keep it and trying to think about the circumstances that she was going to bring the baby into. So I think, she's being really responsible, I think, in weighing her options, especially with a mama like Monet. I mean, come on now. So, Monet had to get herself together and really own up to her faults this week.
She hasn't. And I say that to say both Diana and Drew specifically said that they want no more parts of the game. That they want to out. They want to do their own thing. Drew wants to get into his artwork. Diana wants to raise a child without looking over her shoulder, as to whether the family's in danger or not. And Monet still doesn't get it. She still thinks that she can win everyone over and still play this game, and it's just not going to work. And I know you started with Monet, but I also wanted to pick on Tariq. Okay, we said last week that they may hook up. Well, dang, I didn't know it was going to be a one-night affair, but okay. So, and Anya, she kind of threw him a curveball there for a minute. I mean, boy on the floor all beat up, and she's dressed and ready to fly out the door. I mean, I pause because I just don't know what to make of Tariq. The mistakes that he keeps making and all these other things that we've talked about. And it just seems to fly in his face every single time.
Well, I'm not sure that Tariq is, in his mind, he's not making a mistake. In his mind, he's bossing up and taking care of his responsibilities and trying to work to protect his family. And so in his mind, the thing with Anya is leverage. That's something that he can use against Noma, because we've seen, eventually Noma did find out that Tariq is selling again. And she specifically told him, you out, you cut off. And here he is setting up shop again. So she confronts him, and he used Anya in that situation to divert the attention from him so that Anya wouldn't find out what her mama is really into. So Tariq is very smart.
Well, he did that too to save his own life too, because you see Kane. Kane was so gleeful. He had like a Cheshire cat gun on his face, like anytime he was so ready to to go at Tariq. And so her making it known that he knew Anya and everything, and they hung out, she knew that she had to be cool. Like she told Kane, she was like, I gotta be strategic. I gotta be careful because she doesn't do her dirt in front of Anya.
Exactly.
So that was smart.
And that's why I said it's leverage, and he's going to continue to use that relationship to buy him leverage so that Noma can't attack him.
But
because she risks being outed.
He's got more than 9 lives. I mean, the boy has just. I mean, luck is just. It's not even considered luck anymore. It must be another name, something more that fits him, because he just seems to have luck every single time. If Anya didn't show up, he may have had a bullet in his head.
Oh yeah, he would have. They were ready to get him out of there.
He was pulling out the gun. I'm like, it's a bunch of people at this party, and he was still pulling out the strap. I was like, wow, he didn't care.
Nope.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And that's why I say it's like Tariq he's playing a dangerous game here. A real dangerous game, because like I said, Diana is really focused on keeping her child away from that influence, and we seen Tariq kind of battling with that. He had all of these of course we know that Brayden's girlfriend spiked his drink with some acid and he really had she get the hands.
She definitely get the hands, and Brayden too for dealing with her. Like he should not
dealing with her, pillow talking, giving up the business secrets.
I felt Tariq when he called her an addict. Now, I felt sorry for her when I heard about sickle cell and stuff, because I know what that does, to a person and stuff. So I said, okay, so this is why she's probably taking the drugs. She's masking the pain using the drugs. But that does not mean that she's not an addict, though, because she's definitely an addict. Because I'm like, even the fact that she's mixing her meds with the coke and stuff, and then she's talking about acid, and she dosed Tariq. I was like, Brayden, you wrong for not putting Tariq on the game, and he should have cut her off once she did that to Tariq.
Also,
I hope he does.
Hats off to Stars though for not introducing, but giving us a firsthand look. For those of us who don't know, most of the Black community knows what effects that disease has. Sickle cell has on us, and even still, we may not know the total effects, and the way they broke it down, and some of her conditions. I thought that was a perfect time to do that. Well structured. I really like that scene very much in the way it was told.
I had a discussion with my son about it, because my very first love, teenage love, he had sickle cell. So I used to accompany him a lot to the hospital when he would have his crises and stuff. So I'm very familiar with the disease and the traits and this, that, and the other. So I was glad that they, like you, Ron, that they touched on it and emphasized that it's, within the Black community. That disease is prevalent.
And whites can have it, can get it, but it's predominantly more popular.
Yeah, it's predominantly us.
And hats off with that. Though, Tariq has, the man has balls that probably go 100 yards out. Because while we talk about Brayden's girlfriend, Tariq pretty much he personally could have destroyed everything that was going on at the school with some of the things that he had done with how else did Noma find out about the drugs? Well, because
it was reckless.
Had to bring home some coke, and of course moms, y'all have I don't know how you do it, but you all have a way of smelling everything out, and eventually
she dropped it. She dropped it right in front of Noma.
It was just a matter of time, though, that Noma would have found out, and so with this, she just happened to drop it. But Tariq, how can you make argument with Brayden and all the steps that you've done? The only difference between you and Brayden is that you got luck beyond luck.
Hey, well,
who that sound like though? Who that sound like?
Okay.
Act like it's that.
Okay, okay,
Like
okay,
Ghost.
okay.
Who that sound like? Because
Gotcha.
that's what Ghost would do. He would
Gotcha.
come down on Tommy, and most of the time, Ghost was right
Hmm.
about
Mm-hmm.
Tommy's actions and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
he would not own up to the stuff that he was doing.
I'm gonna let you have that one, and later on in the show, I'm coming back. So you got that.
But Brayden is turning out to be a really huge liability though, because not only because of the drug use, not only because of the girlfriend, but he also went to Zion, and I know that he felt threatened, but he
Yeah.
straight up snitched and ratted out, said, Noma is the one that's providing the Russians they drugs now. And so it's like, dang, Brayden can't hold water for nothing. He doesn't
No,
know how to, he's really not built for the life, like Tariq said.
no, Tommy would have never. Tommy would have never.
Never. Yeah. And so like Brayden continues to worry me. And I think that this is the buildup between separation between Brayden and Tariq. I can see it coming, and maybe they still have that love for each other, but ultimately in terms of dealing with this business and how dangerous things can get, I don't think that Brayden is built for the life, and Tariq is probably gonna have to cut him loose.
Yeah, but how does he cut him loose though? I'm wondering, will Tariq be forced to take him out?
I
I
don't
hope
think
not.
that. Honestly, I see a reenactment of Ghost and Tommy. Even Zion called Brayden. What do you say, Little Tommy,
Tiny
Mm-hmm.
Tommy,
Tiny
Tiny
Tommy?
Tommy.
Yeah. So I don't know. Is that foreshadowing or not? I don't know. But I think if Tariq were actually able to take a step back and really gather himself, I think he'll see some of the mistakes, a lot of the mistakes he's made, and some of those mistakes that Brayden is making is duly responsible. He's responsible for. So I think that there's a lot of discussion that needs to be had between the two of them. I don't necessarily see him getting rid of Brayden because he needs Brayden, and Brayden does know how to do certain things. I just think that they need to control themselves.
You need to stay off
Rein it
the
in.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what Brayden was saying to him too, even though Brayden was wrong for pillow talking, he's wrong for taking,
Yeah.
getting high off his own supply and all
Yeah.
of that. But what he was saying to Tariq about him, like, you not listening to the stuff that I'm going on. Like, it's always a crisis when it comes to you.
Exactly.
Yep.
But not my stuff. Like, I lost my family
Right.
too behind
Exactly.
this. So he had stuff going on too. So the stuff that he was saying to Tariq, they were valid. He made valid points.
Yeah, Tariq has absolutely been a little selfish in his thinking. And then, while he was on the acid and he started hallucinating, he really has some realizations. I think it's like I don't know if that's foreshadowing or not about, him having a little boy, the little boy growing up, and Kane and Diana still threatening his life and coming after him. But then eventually we see him in that same suit and in that same scene where Ghost was. And it's like, his son challenging him now. And then eventually it switched to him challenging himself. And so it's like Tariq is really battling internally with a lot of demons. But he ultimately confessed this episode that he is more like his father than he would like to admit. And he sees now how Ghost had to pick and choose the people around him and which things that were good and which things that were bad that he would, try to borrow from his own personality traits. And I'm like, Tariq sees now what his father was dealing with, the same thing that us as an audience have been hollering about all these years. And it's like, we told you, Tariq. Your dad tried to tell you. He tried to protect you. He tried to keep you out of the life. You chose this, and now you got to sleep in the bed that you made.
He did choose it.
Yeah. So it's like, Tariq also, is thinking about how he can best protect his family, but in his mind, instead of getting all the way out the game like Ghost did, or even having one foot in and one foot out, he wants to go all in. He wants to be the biggest in the game.
So did
the
Ghost.
apex predator.
And so did Ghost. And in fact, Ghost was an apex predator. And so, which is why Ghost was able to do the things he was able to do. However, I just love the analogy that he brought in with identifying as his dad, and also, you know, measuring and comparing the fact that he is a lot like his father. And I guess I don't want to beat a dead horse, but it just has to be brought up that if Ghost had had his way, Tariq wouldn't be the man he is now.
And he wouldn't have been in the game,
and
right?
I think a lot of the commentators, I mean, comments that we have had, and commentators who have agree with me, or see, or I should say, we come together on terms about the difference between Tasha and Ghost, is that while I agree that Ghost had his hand because he chose the profession, and he didn't have to choose that profession. He was a smart man. He could have chose something else, but that was the profession he chose. But he did try his damnedest to keep his son out of the game. And here we see Tariq trying to convince Diana that not only can he be an apex predator like his dad, or even better than his dad, but he has to be that apex predator to take care of Diana and their newborn child.
Except Diana wants no parts.
Oh, she's like peace, and I wasn't mad at her for saying peace, because she was like, "You hear me say that I want a fresh start with this baby, and I want to keep her away, and you doubling down, which is crazy." And Tariq surprised me too, because I thought that he was going to not want the baby. I thought he was going to say, it's crazy to have a baby and bring her into this. I mean, bring it into this life. So I was really surprised that when he was like, I thought about it and I want to do it. So I was like, okay, Tariq, he wants to be a dad.
It's also a delusion of grandeur that brings with that life, that surrealness that you think that you have the ability to do what everyone else throughout the ages have tried to do and failed. It's just one of those career jobs that blood in, blood out, as they say. So um, why he thinks he can do better than his dad, I don't know. Why he's not listening to Diana, maybe he thinks he can change her mind. I don't know. But between he and Monet, they're just poison, because the two of them aren't listening to the better halves, if you will, in their lives, that want something different.
And you might have been surprised. You might have been surprised by Tariq's reaction. I was a little surprised by Diana's decision, because here she is. She acknowledged that Tariq just tried to shoot her last week. And then here Salim he's missing, and she very well suspects that Tariq had something to do with it, which she's absolutely correct about. So you have your ex who's missing, and your likely baby daddy who just threatened your life last week, and you want to have a baby by him?
Listen, that parallel was the Ghost and Angela parallel, because remember when Angela asked Ghost about Silver, he's missing. What happened to Terry Silver? I don't know what happened to Terry Silver. And we know Ghost lied right to her face and told her that he did not kill. Like, he didn't know what happened to Terry Silver, but we know he killed Terry Silver. Like, Tariq did the same thing with Diana.
Yeah.
He's like,
father like son.
I get ready.
Yeah, like father like son. Like, in the hubris, like what you said, like he feels like he can double down and he can be better than his dad and stuff. And going back to something I said before that Courtney Kemp said. Courtney Kemp said about Ghost, she said that he had a lot of hubris and he always assumed that he was the smartest person in the room. And most of the time he was. And so Tariq acts just like him. Like, Tariq is like, I'm better than him, this, that, and the other. I'm not going to make those mistakes, which makes me scared for Tariq. I'm wondering if he's going to get out of this series alive. Because Ron and I were talking offline about karma. And I'm just like, a lot of stuff has happened. Tariq has done a lot of stuff. And will he be able to ride off into the sunset with all the stuff that he's done?
Yeah, because I mean, it's blood in, blood out. I tell you, I always echo Lobos's words. Guys like us don't make it out. We don't get to live a long, happy life.
And water paint. That's what he said, paint by numbers and stuff.
Yeah,
So he said
And so that's where we are with Tariq and his mess. But again, back to Monet. I guess if I'm fearful of any of them, it's Drew. Um,
Mm.
you know, oh man, I mean, how much bad luck can Drew have? Drew needs to talk to Tariq and see where to shop with the luck thing, because Drew just doesn't seem to have any. Now he meets up with this artist and he shows the artist some of his work, and she says, well, we have this new talent showcase twice a year, I think it was, or once every 2 years, or whatever it was. And she said if some of his pieces look good, that she would allow him to have a showcase. Perfect. That was a perfect landing for him. Wanting to get out of the
Mm.
business, and it was just a perfect landing. I mean,
Yeah, I think it's giving him some opportunity or some hope for some normalcy.
well, I gave him
He's
a
trying
10
to
on that.
rebuild
Right,
and get on his feet.
right. I gave him a 10 on that landing. But
Hmm.
look what happens, and we'll talk about that, I guess, a little sooner, a little later. And he's right back in it again. But then to sit down with Monet, and because Monet said what he had always been wanting her to say, that I'm sorry and it was my fault. And he sat down and well, that's the first time you've ever said this. And he's beginning to listen to her lies all over again. Monet is up to no good. She'll say whatever she has to say to get what she wants, to have her family where she wants them. And so I just, he's the one I fear most that won't make it out of the season.
I have that same fear for Drew.
I do too.
And I think for him, he takes Monet's words with a grain of salt. Like, sure, you're sorry. Sure, you're going to finally admit this. But he's like, I still don't want no parts of your family business. I want to cut just so I can get back on my feet. But I want to keep business. I want to do my own thing, keep family separate. I don't want no, and I think that he needs that. And Monet needs to let her children be who they're going to be out from up under her thumb, because she's very overbearing, very. And she even promised not to dabble in Diana's matters, but it's like, how likely is that? So Monet has a lot of making up to do with her kids. But the fact that this thing went down, so you hinted at it a little bit, Ron. This situation with Detective Carter following Monet and Drew, and then they end up getting caught in the act while they are hitting up Noma's people. And so Detective Carter, we always figured there was something else to this story, but I wasn't quite thinking it would be this.
I said
I
last
don't
week.
know. What's up? What's up? Because even these last few roles, he been playing some crazy folk. And when we saw him talking to Denise and asking for his lip balm and this
talking to the picture.
I was like,
Cray.
His brother snap.
But I said last week there was something up with Carter. And I said that he's making a mistake, that he's making mistakes. We now see the mistake he's actually making. See, he thinks that he can control Monet, and he thinks he can control that whole drug region in New York. And that's what he's trying to do. That is the biggest mistake that Carter can make. And it's going to play out that let me tell you, his time is short on PowerBook 2.
No, hold up. This is what I think. I think that he's using that personal vendetta because his wife was an innocent victim to, wipe out. He was like, you can kill other drug dealers, but no innocents. So that's how he's making a deal and he's getting a cut. You know what? I fear that Kamal, who is the good cop, who has been able to figure stuff out with Tariq, I think Kamal is going to figure out what happens. And I think Detective Carter is going to end up killing Kamal. I don't know that for sure. I haven't seen any previews or whatever. This is only my hunch. I'm just saying the way it is, because the way he kind of cut, and my son said that he was like, "Oh, he dirty." He called it once when they had that conversation, and when Kamal tried to bring him the tip, and he was like, when he kind of
my way or the highway.
Shoot him the way, and tried to keep him out and said, "Oh, I have my team run it down." Yeah, I think because Kamal is a good cop, he's gonna figure it out.
I can see that. I honestly can see that. But what I'm saying is, and I agree with you that he wants the look. I'm all for it. If you all want to kill each other, that's great. Go at it. Um, Kill each other for all I care. Keep the innocents out of it. That's understood. But now you're asking for a cut. You're asking for 35%, which means now you're just as
Culpable.
involved as anybody else. You're right. You're just as culpable as anybody else. And look who you're trying to control. You have Monet, which you can't trust. Um, you're trying to have Naoma, what's it?
Noma.
Noma. You're gonna have to control her, and you're gonna have to control Zion with his crazy ass self. So I just don't simply see how. Look, and then you have a task force, and you can't always depend on your task force because if things don't,
I say anybody can be flipped.
Anybody can be flipped, and if things don't go exactly the way they want it to go, so I think he made a big mistake there. He should have taken his win and locked them up. You would have gotten, you look, you would have gotten a key to the city because you've taken out Monet, someone that people have been trying to get at. But no, what do?
They
You
said she's mid-level, like she's up and coming, like so she's not even really a big fish for real.
But look at what he stands to lose with his position.
Yeah. But he seems to think that the respect that they've earned within the NYPD is enough to protect them. And that's why I think your Kamal theory is going to come in because Kamal, it's different when you're being outed by a drug dealer on the street. Nobody's going to believe you. But when you're outed by one of your own, like Kamal is also in law enforcement. And so when you get outed by somebody else in law enforcement, that adds credibility to their statement.
And that's why I say that's second to the end because yes, I think he will have to take out Kamal and he probably won't have a problem doing it. But once he does that, the dominoes are falling. And so
and then it's gonna be right. And then it's gonna involve Governor Tate, Rashad and stuff, because that's his brother and stuff. So that's gonna be a different storyline.
Exactly.
I agree.
You know what was happening with Carter? That's why he was also trying to ride. He's trying to ride Tariq about the Junior thing because in his mind, Tariq is an innocent. Junior is an innocent. So he's trying to get revenge for Paz, but he also was trying to figure out who was the boss between Tariq and Monet. Because when he was asking the questions and he was asking like, but how did he behave when he asked Kamal when you brought up about Monet knowing this, and Kamal was like, oh, he was shook and stuff. So so the other guy on the team, the white guy, was like, oh, she's the boss. Yeah. So they were trying to figure out who was the
power
boss.
structure.
So their power structure, so they can know who to shake down.
Yep.
And pull up on like, oh, Tariq ain't the boss, Monet is, so we're gonna pull up on her.
Yeah, and it really draws into question like, are y'all any better just because you got revenge? They shot one of Monet's soldiers because he killed an innocent, and it's like, well, who are you to play God?
Well, it just goes as you say. Dirt begets dirt. They just. It really doesn't matter what side of the field you're on. If you're dirty, if it's a dirty game, it's a dirty game. You got one side that's dirty, the other one's just as dirty as the other. Come on. The question is going to be what happens to Carter, and now that we see that he has a psychological problem. And he wants part of the game. What we're seeing is this development of a man that's going to be out of control at some point or another. And so I doubt he'll make it out of the next season.
We'll see.
We'll see. Next season, this is it.
Well,
next half of
the next half.
Oh, okay. Oh,
that's why I say I didn't mean next season. I mean next half of the season. I doubt it get out of that.
Yeah.
You'll see. I feel like Monet gonna end up in jail. I don't feel like she's gonna die. I feel like she's gonna end up in the bank. You know what was a pot meet kettle moment to me was when Noma found the drugs with Anya, and she said, "Do you know what this does to people?" I said,
"Girl, you selling it."
I was like, no, she didn't. No, she didn't. I'm like, you a big time dealer at the head of the food chain. And you gonna say that to Anya? I was like, ooh. I was like, come on, Tariq, expose her.
Right. I was like, wait till Noma gets outed. It's gonna be that's gonna be a day. That's gonna be the day. It's going really down in history.
She gonna really want Tariq dead because you can tell that Anya is her world. That's her world, and she doesn't want her knowing anything. So when she finds out what her mom is into, and that she's also responsible for her dad getting killed.
Yep.
Oh, she gonna be done.
Yep.
That's the place for Tariq to hang his hat on.
And that's what leverage is talking about. That's that leverage that Tariq is talking about using. He's gonna reel Anya in so close to him, and then he's gonna start his attack on Noma. So I'm just waiting to see it.
Yeah, I see Noma out. She's gonna be out because for one thing, Zion will not forget about that beatdown he just had with
well, Kane. Let's talk about that.
He's not gonna forget that beatdown, and kudos to Kane. I mean, we know Kane can, right?
Kane put the paws on him.
Kane, my hat's off to him. I just thought he was just a little street fighter.
But did he win by technicality because Zion got the brass knuckles?
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, because that's cheating.
He just started to
cheat. That's cheating to pull out brass knuckles.
And you know something? I think Kane would have whooped his behind even with the brass knuckles if Kane had known that he had him in the first place.
Yeah.
So he hit him in the rib, but seemed like he absorbed.
He was already winning. Because he had pieced them up. That's why he grabbed the brass knuckles.
Exactly.
And so he would have beat him anyway.
And I think he's going to retaliate on Noma. I think
Noma expects it too.
Well,
she's like, oh, Zion ain't gonna take this lightly. We got to get ready for when he tries to retaliate.
But you know the mistake was, what did Kane say? You don't need anybody else but me.
Kane trying to win some brownie points with Noma. He trying to show that he can lead and be better than Obi and be her man.
Yeah, that.
He trying to show off, and he doing all that for Noma. And what was Noma doing?
Kissing up on Davis
with Davis.
Yeah,
what was Noma? I said, "Ooh," I was like, "Okay, Noma, I see you.
I think we knew
scandalous.
That was inevitable. I knew that. Davis would have his way with her some way or another. The problem is, does Kane find out?
I was going to say, would he kill Davis and stuff? My son was like, he wouldn't do that over her. But I'm like, no, Kane got mommy issues. And so, I don't know. He has mommy issues. And, he done gone from Monet to Noma and stuff. And I think he would have an issue. I don't know for sure if he could kill Davis.
I think Kane might take Noma out.
I do think that too, because I think he wants the top spot, and
he wants the top spot, and she's betrayed him after he thinks that they getting cozy.
Yeah, and she betrayed him. Yeah,
I think it would be more about betrayal because, as we see, the more she depends on him muscle-wise, the higher up he goes. So I don't know how he would. I'm in agreement with you, Tiffany. I don't know how he would. Accept this line of portrayal between she and Davis. I just don't see it.
I'm nervous for Davis too, because whether Davis takes him out or not, I think if Noma finds out that he is also working for Tariq, because Tariq put him up to, working closely with Noma and this, that, and the other, she would kill him. She would kill Davis if she finds out that he's doing.
And how about if Noma finds out that Brayden is the one that ratted her out to Zion?
Oh my goodness, wow. Yes.
Yeah.
Brayden might be out of here.
Tiny Tommy will be gone.
Well, Zion at least held up his bargain. He said he wouldn't rat him out, and he could have at the
right now.
I would say
he could have ran him out at the restaurant though, but I love the way he played it. Because now Noma has to understand that you're not the big fish in the pond. I mean, you're not the biggest fish in the pond anymore.
He made her move. And it was funny. I was laughing at the congressman because he's like, you know him?
Right. And he did come at her like they knew each other. He was like really grabbing up. I was like, oh,
Yeah, she was furious too. You could see when she walked out, she was trying not to make a scene, but you could see in her face that she was
He
pissed.
embarrassed her.
Yeah, he did. He did.
So I don't know. That was something else to watch, but it's a dirty game, and she's definitely encroaching on his territory. So I don't know how big Noma is. Like, we know she was big overseas, but she's just trying to get her footing here.
Right.
And I don't know if it's. I think it's kind of irresponsible of her to not know the players in the game, because she was asking Kane, like, "Do you know this guy?" Asking Davis, how do you know him? Like, she didn't seem very familiar with the big players in the game.
I don't think so. I think that was Obi's job and stuff. And I think Obi kept her in the loop. And now that she, murked Obi, she doesn't know because she's not a citizen yet. Because that's what.
But she should have known the landscape. I find it hard to, because she already has established her business. I find it hard that you just come establish your business, but you don't know the landscape.
Yeah, not in the U.S. She doesn't know the laws of the land because she ain't.
That seems very irresponsible.
A citizen, and that's why she's trying to rely on Davis and stuff.
Yeah, but she shouldn't be doing it in retrospect. That should have been done before.
It should have been. It should have been.
Well, also making alliances, because that's something she seems to have a problem with. She doesn't know how to make alliances. If you're going to come in from another country and thinking that you're going to take over, particularly New York City, you have to establish alliances. And she didn't want to do that. She felt that she can, bring her British self over here and just take over the whole New York game. I mean, the whole drug game. That ain't happening. So she now sees that there's a lot more work that has to be done.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I want to shout out the wardrobe department, because I was like, some of them outfits that Noma was wearing, those suits were amazing. You see that Gucci suit and the shoes, and then even when the earrings, and then when she went to that event last week, and that suit that had the cutout in the back, and even like the leopard print. Yeah, her wardrobe is amazing.
Yeah, so this is an interesting place for them to leave us off at, because like I felt like last week's episode could have been the mid-season, because that one was full of drama and action and like just heightened emotions. This week's episode wasn't quite as as intense as last week's.
You said the same thing. I said that to my son. I was like, I said this episode was good. I said, but it did not feel like a mid-season finale to me, even though there was a reveal with Carter and stuff. And my son reminded me, he was like, well, you gotta realize that they didn't know they were filming the last season at the time they were filming. And I said, that's true.
Yeah.
So, so the episode 5 may have not really meant to be like a real mid-season finale and stuff. So I felt the same thing. It was like, it was a lot that went on and stuff, but like you said, I feel like episode 4 could have probably been more of
a mid-season.
I don't know. I enjoyed this one, and I thought that it had the elements of leaving us for something else to come, not like, okay, it's all over and done with. So September, I'm really looking forward to it, because there are a lot of loose ends that need to be tied up, particularly Carter. I'm more interested now as to what happens to Carter. They gave us that little nugget with that scene with his kissing the picture of his wife and taking the what was that, chapstick or something that he took?
Yeah, the chapstick.
Yeah, so that means that what we saw in Carter was this so-called brilliant detective that can what do you call it, sow his way into the trappings of the drug game in New York. But now we see he's something else altogether. He's as big a part of it as anybody else. So I'm really interested to see what happens with his character.
Yeah, it just seems to me like they have a whole lot to tie up in 5 episodes. I'm like, are they gonna be able to pull this off? Like, Are they gonna leave us in a good spot? Is there gonna be another spinoff somewhere else? Like, what is it?
It might be. There
might
might be.
Too much.
There might be, because I feel the same way. Like I enjoyed it too, Ron. I did enjoy the episode. I just felt like it didn't feel like a mid-season finale to me. But I did enjoy it. I do think that there's things for us to look forward to, because it's a lot of stuff. Because we see that Brayden, like, he going off the rails and stuff.
Yeah.
Tariq, I told you my prediction about the Kamal thing. I think that Noma, I agree with UT that it's a possibility that at the end of this, Kane might take Noma out. What if he takes over her business? Because there's all this chatter, and I don't know if it's going to happen, but there's a chatter about a power in London. And I'm like, and I don't know if that's going to happen, but if he takes her out or if he teams up with her and stuff, maybe that's, maybe that's where they end up.
He hasn't shown me to have the acumen to actually run a drug organization. He seems to be very fit with muscle, being the muscle. But to run the whole organization, I doesn't mean he can't, and I'm not saying that he can't. I just haven't seen it. So I really would like to see an episode or two where they deliver something that gives me the idea that yes, he can do that. Uh, you know, there's been I've been watching a series on Netflix called Supercell, and it happens to be something very, it's a British kind of drama, not necessarily a drug deal, but you can just see how overseas movies now, man, they've really stepped their game up. So I can definitely see something like a Power over in Europe, and I definitely would watch it because the Brits they're doing their thing. They're doing their thing.
We'll have to see what happens. I do feel like I'm looking forward to the remainder of this season. Gotta wait till September. So I guess we'll be anxiously writing down all our theories until then. We kind of talked about who can get the hands this episode. I definitely gave it to Brayden's girlfriend. Do y'all have any more nominations?
Zion.
Brayden?
Giving Brayden, Zion. Okay.
Because Brayden for pillow talking and also doing the product. And then not putting Tariq on the game. Like, he lied to Tariq and told him when he said he was dosed, he said, "Oh, it's happened to a lot of people on the campus."
Yeah, like it's a prank.
He didn't let Tariq know that it was his girl. And I think in the second half, I think Tariq is going to find out that it was his girl.
Brayden isn't stupid, because if Tariq had found that out, we would have seen her with a bullet hole in her head. So
it may happen anyway.
Well, yeah, it may. But I'm also giving Carter the hands, because he showed a whole different side of
he definitely deserves that.
So even though he wants to, it's the game that he wants to get into, but I just wasn't expecting that from him. I thought it was over for Monet, and here he is joining her.
Yeah. All right, I can agree with those. Now for the game ball, who y'all thinking? Because this one, I'm not seeing a clear winner for the game ball.
Say something outlandish, and here it is. When Brayden said to Zion that it was Noma who was supplying who was the contact, think about it this way. The two of them could have gone at one another and taken each other out. And in some senses, that might have been a better deal. But I guess the only thing is that Tariq and Brayden, they need one of them. But I really wasn't that terribly upset at Brayden for doing what he had to do, because after all, his life was in danger. Zion ain't no joke. So he had to do what he did. And it could have gone where Zion took out Noma, or Noma takes out Zion. We don't need them both in this game. Somebody take one of them out.
This is what I think. I think it's going to fall back on Effie, because when Noma had the conversation with Effie and was like, "Are you selling this? Isn't this your territory?" And she was like, "No, it's not mine." And when she asked her, like, "Well, whose is it?" She didn't answer. And Noma was like, "Uh-huh." She knew immediately it was Tariq. So I feel like she is gonna question Effie's loyalty and stuff and say, like, "Oh, you're still taking up, you're still protecting him." And that may put her life in danger.
Okay. That's a good prediction. Yeah, I'm thinking about game ball, and I'm just like, could Diana get it for trying to think about the well-being of her child, trying to get out?
I was thinking that too.
I was like, I guess.
I'm still mad at her.
I am too.
Yeah, the ink's not dry with her yet.
Because I'm like, and she was like, "Last night you tried to shoot me,"
right.
And he was like,
"Wait, look what you did." Exactly.
In danger. Like I'm with Tariq on that. Like you gave the address to Witsec to at the time Tommy was trying to murder Tasha. So and you gonna say I tried to, like, did you forget what you did?
And really, there's no excuse for that. There's no excuse, even though she tried to make up one. There's no excuse for that.
Yeah.
And then she's gonna say we can be mad at each other. Like, you got a lot of nerve. Tariq had every right to be mad at you.
What do you think about? I know I don't want to prolong this show any more than we have, but here's the thing. Okay, if we found out now that they're running drugs at the school, she's gonna find out that Diana is pregnant with Tariq's baby. Y'all don't smell trouble there?
Yeah.
She's gonna be jealous. She's definitely gonna be jealous because that's that's part of the reason why she sold Tariq out too, because Tariq broke up with her.
Gonna be a problem.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think I have a nomination for game ball. I'm going to forego my nomination. Y'all got anything?
I don't have it.
I'm trying to think. Like I'm trying to think, even with Davis, because I'm like, the Davis
no. Neither went around screwed. No.
Yeah, even though it's coming his way, because he don't realize that Kane is already in with her.
Yeah. Well, no, I think he peaked it, because when he said to Noma, he was like, "Zion is one of my clients and stuff. Let me handle it." Not Tariq, Kane went to her and was like, let me deal with it. No security, this and the other. And the way she was looking at him, she came with a certain level of tenderness. Like there was and I know Davis had to peak that.
Maybe he cares, and maybe he don't care.
I don't think he cares. I don't think he cares.
Not one bit.
No, I think he peaked it, and I don't think he cares, because he's very confident, and I think he sees Kane as, a boy, and also rough around the edges and stuff. I don't think he sees Kane as competition, but I know he peaked it.
Okay, well, either way, I think Davis gonna have to watch his back, getting close to Noma and being in with her like that too. He gonna have to watch it.
Yeah, I don't think he might not make it out either, because I feel like she gonna find out that he worked for Tariq. I think that's gonna be like his downfall.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people are fair game at this point, so it's gonna be very interesting to see who goes in the second half.
So I'm ready. I'm still thinking. I'm like you. I'm stuck. Like game ball. What about you, Ron?
No, I got nothing.
Okay.
No. I have something. The spot real talk gets the game.
Yeah, we do. We do.
I'm not mad at that. Never mad at that.
Kamal, look, Kamal for being a good cop and not a dirty cop.
Well, yeah. Well, we'll see though.
But he after Tariq, so
It seems like the bar is real low.
It is.
It is real. It's real low. Everybody on the hands list this week, it seems.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we got a lot to look forward to. As this mid-season comes to a close, we can definitely look forward to you guys' comments. Please make sure you get down into the comment section and give us your thoughts, your predictions for the remainder of the season as well. Subscribe to our channel, like this video, and click that notification bell, because we are going to switch up and do some other shows while Power is on hiatus. So stick with us. Please make sure you're subscribed and all of that good stuff, because we're definitely going to do some other shows. And if you have suggestions for things that you would like to see recapped as well, we're open to that. Make sure you keep up with us on social media. We are on all major platforms at The Spot Real Talk, so follow us there. Like I said before, tell your friends and family to hop onto The Spot Real Talk and get tapped in with us. If you haven't seen any of our recent interviews, we got a lot of great stuff from other shows such as The Shy, which we have recapped as well. So go check out our interview playlist and catch up with some of those really great interviews with cast and crew from some of our favorite shows. Tiffany, Ron, y'all got anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Well, on that note, we are going to call it a night. We appreciate your love and support. Please continue to support and show love to this channel, and make sure you stay up with us as we continue to recap these other shows. So be on the lookout for what's next. Have a good night, and thanks for watching. Bye.
Big man in town, them shoulda know say me I keep it crown. Plant seeds, work feed. Well, enough of them want ready ban. When the food gone so long, them run. And them can't be found. Still man fight the fight, me not giving. Day and night, me keep on building. Way of life, me breathe out, breathing. Oh, 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 oh. Tell them I'm a winner.